Hi, I'm Sherwin with Peachy Lyfe. I'm here at our Peachy Clean facility, and today we're going to be sorting laundry. One of the first things you want to think about when you're sorting laundry is safety. That's throughout your entire process. So what we want to do is to make sure for safety purposes that we have on our gloves. And I always tell my attendants, don't look at what you think may be or not be within that particular load of clothes. Always, always protect yourself and your skin and wear gloves. This is a typical drop-off size of laundry that we'll get in. About 32 pounds is what we have here. It's very important that you remember clothes should never be in a machine, in a cart, on a folding table, or anywhere without proper ticketing. This is how we make sure clothes from different customers do not get mixed in together. And we also know which machines hold which customers' clothes, and there's no guesswork. So without exception, always make sure there is a ticket. When we're sorting clothes, we're looking at 4 general categories: lights, whites, and darks, as well as sometimes you have a special attention area, and these may be things that need to be washed on delicate or on a lower dryer temperature than you would normally use for your general clothing. Our darks are going to be, these are going to be anything that's black, any red is going to be a dark item. You'll notice I'm turning this one inside out. This one has some screen printing on it. And whenever you have screen printing, you want to turn the garment to inside out. It helps to protect it when it's in your wash. This is an example of some cargo pants. This would go in our dark because it's camouflage. And I'm going to check my pockets. Oh, it actually seems to be something in there. And when you check your pockets, what you're not going to do is take your hand and stick it into the pocket. You want to look inside the garment and feel the pocket, right? And see if there's something in there. And if it is, then I can kind of distinguish that this is some paper. I am going to now take it out. It's a receipt, so I'm going to put this aside. And because this is a heavy garment, very heavy, these pants are, just want to make sure it's zipped. And that helps to protect any other clothes that are in the laundry with it. So black, of course. This one can be tricky. This is red. And particularly if you don't know the clothing, you want to make sure that you don't take any chances with reds. Reds will bleed, they will fade. You do not want to put them in with your light colors. Here's a jacket. This is cotton, some type of cotton blend. I know that this can be washed, but it actually suggests that we turn it inside out. Reading the care instructions are so very important. Now, this one can go into our lights or our darks. I'm going to kind of lay it here to the side. So once I go through the customer's clothing, I can see whether or not, based on the color pattern, where this will fit most appropriately. A lot of times customers will have their clothes and they'll be jumbled in, like the legs aren't completely turned out or sleeves are turned into themselves. That's going to create a problem, particularly when you go from the washer to the dryer. It's not going to dry where it's bunched up. So we want to make sure we take care of that. So remember we talked about turning those garments that have screen printing inside out. This one actually has some embroidery on it, so we want to protect that one. That's going to go into our darts. And as you go through, check your items, check your pockets. This is another one that we need to zip, and it's dark. These are some pajama bottoms, and they're dark. This is one of our favorite ones that can also mix us up. So we know about our reds. This has got red and some fuchsia with it. This is going to go, we treat this like a red garment, and it's going to go into our darks. And of course, my favorite football team here. These are like great customers. Alabama, that's going to go into our dark colors. Now we can start to see the difference between the darks and the lights. So we're starting to get into some pastels, some colors that are, your lighter colors. Grays are going to typically go in with your dark clothes. Let's see what we have here. Never give up on looking for the tag. This one seems to be a little complicated to find. Let's see here. Wow. Okay, so this is actually a dry clean only label. I'm going to set this aside because we don't want to make a mistake and actually wash this. So I'm going to set that item aside. So we've got some sequins. Sequins can be washed, but you just want to make sure that you read the care instructions, again, on the garment. Wash inside out, cold. We're going to put that in with our dark colors. So when we're washing rugs, what we don't want to do is put our rugs in with our regular clothing items. So I'm going to take this rug, and maybe they have some more. I'll put it aside for now, but we may need to come back to that. Here we are, one of those tricky items where it's kind of got some light colors and some dark colors. The safe way to go to protect it in terms of bleeding is to put it in with your darks, because those items are going to be washed on cold. And cold is really good to keep items from fading. You've got your towels there that are a pastel color. These are some jeans. What we want to do with our denim, the same, treat it like a heavy garment, right? And we're going to make sure that pocket is zipped, and then we're going to take these jeans and we're going to put them in with our dark. So your denim is going to go with your dark items. And we have some sheets. Now the trick with sheets when you're washing them and you're sorting them, particularly when you have a fitted sheet, is to make sure no clothing items got stuck in those corners, right? So this one is going to be light. You probably already figured that out. And I can already see an example of what I was talking about. This sock fell out of the sheet when I picked it up. So we finally got to our first example of some white clothes. This is a sock, and you may say, well, hey, Sherwin, it's got some pink on here. You can actually wash this with your whites and it won't create any problems for you. So we're going to put that in with our whites. This is really interesting. So this is getting us into our khakis. Our khakis and our grays often will have the properties in those, we'll put them in with our dark clothes. But I want to look here. I have a little stain on this one. So you want to look for stains as you're sorting your clothes. We use this particular spray. You just want to spray it on and rub it in a little bit. Okay, and we get that in there. And I'm going to look back here as well to see if I have anything else I need to pre-treat before we put in. And I do see some items, some stains here. So I'm going to pre-treat this one. Now, when we're pre-treating, we're not looking for every piece of dirt, because that's what the wash cycle is for. But if it looks like something that could be kind of set in stain and you want to make sure you get it out, you want to take care of that before you put it into the wash. Now, if you're going from the wash to the dryer and you find a stain, then take it out immediately, treat it, and wash it again. What we don't want to have happen is for that to go into your dryer and then that stain sets in. Perfect example of another one of those tricky items. So two things are going on here. We've got a sweater type garment, and we have one that's got a lot of white and a lot of a burgundy or a red color. This you want to treat like a dark, because I can even see from how this is maybe fading into the cream area a little bit with this color. So we're going to treat this like a dark, and we're going to put it with our dark colors in case that runs. This is clearly a light. And some people may say, oh gosh, you're taking so much time with this. But sorting the clothes, this is one of the most important steps. People think it may be the washing, the folding that you do later. if you mess up on the sorting process, you can ruin many, many clothes down the road. I'm going to put that with my whites there. So you want to check, you want to make sure you're doing things exactly the way the care instructions say you should be doing them. And you want to protect them along the way. So we've got some more jeans. Now these jeans have some embellishments on there. So whenever we're dealing with embellishments to protect the garment, we want to turn those inside out. Okay, again, let's check our pockets, make sure nothing's going in there. You know, you get an ink pen in your clothes, or, you know, a crayon or something you picked up that the kids had on the floor, and the next thing you know, you've ruined the garment. So we do need to pay attention to this one. I'm going to zip this item so that we can make sure that it's protected and other items that are in the wash are protected as well. And I'm going to create another POW for us, for this customer. That is going to be our special attention items, because it's calling for a gentle cycle and for it to be dried on low. And we want to make sure we protect that. Another pair of khakis. Again, our khakis are going to go in with our dark colors, and I'm just checking it to make sure I don't see any stains that we need to treat. So these items are really tricky for me. I often will say, unless you know for certain and you know this item, always want to go to the side of caution. So this is a white t-shirt. It has some print on it. Technically or theoretically, you could put this with your whites. I don't want to take any chances, and so I don't want anything to fade anymore. I'm going to put this with my warm low, which is going to be my colors, instead of putting it with my whites. I have some suiting in here. My hunch is this is going to be dry clean only, although a lot of times you'll look at these items and a lot of things they're making now can actually go into the wash, and it is suiting, but you never ever want to assume. And this is a perfect one. This one needs to be dry cleaned. This is black. You want to put this in with your darks. We've got another pair of slacks here. Let's see what these are calling for. So these actually are going to be washed in cold. They're going to go in with our dark colors. This is another one of our screen print type shirts. So I'm going to turn it on the inside out so we protect this garment. And it's a gray, so it's going to go in with my dark colors. This one has some embellishments. This person really likes their little stones. This is our second one that has stones on it. As you can see those on there. Just take the time that you need. Never rush through it. So now we have some items that are white. These are very direct. We just put them in there. Whenever I see something with a lining, I always want to just double check to make sure. Okay, this one has a dry cleaner tag on it. The care label says that it can be machine washed, but this customer has clearly had this dry cleaned in the past, so I'm going to set it aside. I may just give them a call and say, hey, you put this in your laundry. Did you want us to wash it, or did you want it to be dry cleaned? So I'm going to put it aside. This garment actually does not have a care label, but I've got this special little chain here, so I'm going to put it with my special attention items. And now we have some more white, a red sock. Everybody answer, yes, it goes to your dark colors. And we've got some purple and black. I'm going to put this with my darks. And some more whites. Now, most of the time, we've got everything out. But look, we've got some socks hiding in here. When you get socks, you want to make sure your socks are turned. The correct side should be out, because if they walked around and they have debris on their socks, on the outside of their socks, which is the case most of the time, you want to make sure that comes out in the wash. If you leave your socks turned inside out, then it's not going to come out. You're going to take it from the dryer, and then all of the stuff that was inside is going to come out. And that's not what we want, because now we don't have a clean sock. This bag probably needs to be washed, so I'm going to put it in with my dark colors. And now we kind of have this green jacket that we were trying to decide if we were going to put it in with our lights or with our darks. And just based on the color patterns for this customer, I'm going to just go ahead and put this in with my light colors. And it's going to be in here and it's going to be washed on warm temperature. So I didn't tag my whites. So I'm going to make sure I have a tag down here for my whites. I have my 2 special attention items, and these are going to go into a wash by themselves. So I'm just going to tag that here for now. And now we're ready to transition to the machines. Thank you so much for joining us.